Introduction to Windows 10. Windows 10 is Microsoft's most recent operating system, released to the public on July 29, 2015. Microsoft announced Windows 10 on June 1, 2015 with the slogan, "Upgrade Your World." Microsoft also heavily focused on the tagline, "A more human way to do," in regards to the new features implemented by Microsoft in Windows 10 to create a more personalized experience for the user. Microsoft's newest operating system gathered mostly positive feedback from the public for reasons such as the desktop interface or the bundled software. There was also some criticism over a few security features and default settings in the operating system. Throughout this presentation, we will go over these key features and what Windows 10 consists of. Windows Security Defender. Windows 10 comes with the software Windows Defender Security Center. The Security Center comes with many useful security features for Windows, some of which were not previously available or made on other versions of Windows. The Security Center is designed to deliver a robust suite of security features to keep the user safe. Bundled into the Security Center is the Windows Defender Antivirus, made to keep the user's PC safe with antivirus protection built into Windows 10. It delivers comprehensive, ongoing, and real-time protection against software threats like viruses, malware, and spyware across email, apps, the cloud, and the web. Windows Defender, formerly known as Windows Essentials, previously came with no access to use of cloud-based definitions, as well as no real-time protection to protect the user's PC. But now, Windows Defender comes with cloud-delivered protection. Users will be able to use and download the latest threat definitions and the latest threat behavior detection from the cloud. Windows 10 also comes with real-time protection. Windows Defender scans in the background the processes, applications, and files to guard against threats. Users can also see the results of all the scans done. Another new Windows Defender security feature is ransom protection, in which it puts all of the user's files, folders, and apps into a controlled access point, protecting the user's data and documents from ransomware attacks. For users who are worried about their children's protections, they now have family options in the Parental Controls panel to easily manage what the child sees online and their experience with the devices, allowing parents to control the protection for Windows 10 and Xbox devices, limiting access to certain websites, and having time limits on devices, and what applications and games can be installed, purchased, and seen. The Windows Firewall. Windows Firewall is designed to keep hackers and malicious software from gaining access to your device through a network or the internet. Microsoft has invested a lot into this application, and the results have shown. Within a year, Microsoft Defender rose from being considered as a baseline of security to one of the top 5 best-rated antivirus, competing with the likes of Bitdefender and Kaspersky Labs. Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Edge was designed with a secure model in mind. No form of scripting with exception of JavaScript. Edge automatically disables scripts such as ActiveX, VML, VB-scripts, and toolbars, just to name a few, while the user interacts online. Should a site use ActiveX controls, Edge would still properly render the web page by using a workaround which does not read the scripts, thus preventing any form of malware or bad scripts to be run. While, like its predecessor, Internet Explorer comes with Smart Screen. Now, Smart Screen is able to not only scan the program you have downloaded, but also keeps you away and protected from malicious websites. Edge has a new login process, which contains a process called Microsoft Passport, which checks certificates of every single site that you visit, and stopping the user to log into sites that they do not have proper certificates, like many phishing websites. It natively supports Windows Hello, a biometric authentication support system, to authenticate users and the website using asymmetric cryptography. So if it were a phishing website, it would display the user's credentials in plain text, but since Microsoft Passport uses asymmetric keys, the site will be unable to decipher the key and will not get any login credentials. Edge also runs in partial sandbox, preventing attackers from gaining control of all computer resources. It will also be harder for the attackers to gain access to Edge you may have on your system, as it will be only extensions that are signed and approved by Microsoft. Should they gain access to the browser, they will still be unable to compromise the system and its data, as it will be in the sandbox. Microsoft has made Edge use a new rendering engine, replacing the old Trident engine from the Internet Explorer. This new engine is focused more security and rendering, allowing web developers to make websites without worrying about the website working without something else that is meant to be worked with. Edge supports W3C standard for content security policy that will aid developers in protecting their websites for cross-scripting attacks. Edge also employs HTTP strict transport security to help ensure that the connections to online shops are safe and reliable. Edge will also offer protection against buffer overflow scripts, which tries to give the attacker the control of the browser and machine. Extensions that are provided for Edge browser are all tested by Microsoft personally before being made public for users. They will allow extensions that run languages that can be manipulated like Java and Silverlight. Windows Physical Security. For the users on the go, Windows 10 also comes with a built-in Find My Device feature. So if your device is ever lost or stolen, you can make the device ring, lock, and erase for the Windows device. Part of the higher level security initiative that is being pushed on Windows 10 by Microsoft is automatic updates. Users will no longer need to manually check for updates to install them. Everything will be done automatically by the OS, allowing the system to make batch installs of the update to quickly get the user's PC up to date. In so, doing will require fewer restarts to apply to the updates. Windows 10 now comes with Windows Hello, a new and better way to log into your devices. Windows Hello uses biometric sensors to detect when it's really the owner of the device who is logging into the computer. Windows Hello became very popular when it was first unveiled, showing that the user can log in faster without compromising security with facial recognition, fingerprint ID, or iris sensor. Windows Hello uses the camera and built-in infrared sensor to check whether the face of the person logging in matches the scanned face that was stored on the computer. Windows Hello takes the data from the face or iris sensor or fingerprint reader and creates a data representation, non-image, similar to a graph, and encrypts it before it's storing it on the user's device. If the user ever forgets to lock their PC or tablet when they step away, Windows Hello can use the devices that are paired with your PC to automatically lock it shortly after you're out of Bluetooth range.
Defender Advanced Threat Protection, also known as Defender ATP. For companies, Windows 10 now comes with Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection. It is a unified platform for preventative protection, post-breach detection, and automated investigation and response. It's agentless and powered completely by the cloud, so no additional deployment or infrastructures, no delays or update compatibility issues. It boasts automated security, which allows admins to go from alert to remediation within minutes by applying industry best practices and intelligent decision-making algorithms to determine whether a threat, file, or file list is active and what action to take. It also has synchronized defense by syncing data from exploration and detection across all devices, identities, and information in order to speed up response and recovery. ATP protects endpoints from cyber threats, detects advanced attacks and data breaches, automated security incidents, and provides security posture. ATP reduces the attack surface by eliminating the exploit options and pathways that attackers depend on the most. It boasts next-generation protection with intelligent security graph providing data to help admins protect themselves from advanced ransomware, fireless, and other types of attacks. Better endpoint detection responses by actively monitoring behaviors, applying machine learning and security analytics to spot attacks, provides SpecOps-rich tools to investigate and respond to threats. It comes with auto-investigation and remediation by automatically investigating alerts to determine the appropriate course of action and remediate complex threats in minutes without human intervention. It has security posture that gain real-time visibility into your secure score and significant and emerging threats. Assess your risk and get recommendation to increase resilience. It features advanced hunting SpecOps that can actively hunt for any activity using flexible queries gathered across endpoints from over months of historical data and build custom detection. It comes with several features of Windows Defender, such as the antivirus, exploit protection, network protection, as well as behavior monitoring. It has good application control to help organizations change their malware defense strategy with the aid of the cloud to automate application control. Once ATP has detected a breach or an attack, It deploys an endpoint detection and response, also known as EDR, giving the admin data immediately, saving them lots of time, and helping admins to visually investigate for forensic evidence across endpoints to uncover scopes of breach. It lets admins hunt interactively with rapid access to 6 months of historic data to search and explore across endpoints. It lets admins set custom detection, allowing them to upload their own indicator of compromise to be alerted by their custom threat intelligence. By using machine learning, ATP is able to detect attacks and zero-day exploits. BitLocker. Integrated into the operating system, it helps with protecting data and addresses the threat of data theft or exposure from stolen, lost, or inappropriately decommissioned computers. It also uses rapid encryption to fully encrypt the hard drive. Trusted Platform Module, also known as TPM, is designed to provide hardware-based security-related functions. A TPM chip is a secure crypto processor that helps you with actions such as generating, storing, and limiting the use of cryptographic keys.
WIP, or Windows Information Protection, is a feature supported by Windows 10 operating system, which allows the information of a company to be secured. It's important to protect against people who have malicious intent, but that's not always the case, as most information is leaked without the user knowing it. And so Windows Information Protection is used to protect a company's data before it gets out of control to a point where they no longer have access to the information or it is leaked. Company. It also gives the company a lot of control over their data by introducing clear separations and giving one the ability to wipe the devices that belong to the corporation or their employees of that confidential information so it can't be leaked or tampered with. But it can do so in a way that only the corporation or enterprise's information is erased and minimizes the need for damage control afterwards. WIP also keeps reports and timestamps of information through auditing, and it keeps it. There's also an assortment of different protection modes you can use with Windows Information Protection, such as block WIP, which looks for inappropriate access to information, or sharing connections, and it terminates those connections before the information is actually sent. Allow overrides WIP does the same thing as block WIP, except it prompts a user with a warning instead of terminating the connection, and can actually be overridden by a person with the proper clearance so that they can send that information across devices. Silent WIP is a sneakier alternative, as it actually runs in the background and it logs inappropriate data sharing without actually warning the user, or the user who is sharing that inappropriate data being aware of it being there. And so it sends these reports to an administrator. Windows Defender Credential Guard is a subset of the Windows Defender protocol, which prevents credential theft by isolating certain information so that only applications and software that have the required privileges can access them. It also prevents credential theft attacks by securing one's NTLM password hashes or Kerberos tickets that are stored by certain applications. And so this prevents both hash and ticket attacks. It also integrates virtual isolation of said credentials, as they are run in a sort of quarantine aside the operating system. It also specifically targets malware so that even if the malicious application or protocol is running with the administrator privileges, it doesn't allow the secret information to be extracted. Antivirus utilize isolation chambers in which to quarantine suspicious files to be reevaluated or terminated later on. By isolating a suspicious file or application, this prevents further damage from being done to your system, as well as minimizes the contact with the rest of your data to prevent further infection or leakage or wiping of your data. Antivirus applications also implement interval scans into their system. And so these applications can be set to run scans of your system at certain times on a set schedule or manually to filter your system's files and sort through your information in search of suspicious activity or anomalies. The advantage of this is that these interval scans can be run in the background of your operating system. Another alternative that sometimes comes built in with an antivirus application or can be modified in your settings on your actual system are permissions. And these permissions allow the administrator to limit access to certain actions, folders, or applications. These often require the administrator's password to the computer or the user to get into contact with the administrator in order for them to let them execute whatever application is prompting this notification. And so it prevents on another function of antivirus software, and also your own Windows 10 computer settings would be password changing. And so changing your password reduces the chance of it being cracked by someone with malicious intent or who's trying to get into your system. And so by changing your password, maybe annually or monthly or however often you set it to, it makes it a lot harder for someone to guess your password. System updates and patches are also a great way to uphold the security of your system and make sure that there are no loopholes or ways for people to get into your operating system, reducing the variety of ways one can actually attack or intrude on your system. They're also important because they do fix bugs and problems within the operating system. But patches are useful in the same way that interval scans are, in that they can be done automatically or manually authorized by the user. So this chart over here is a usability chart, and it basically references the amounts of problems that people have had with their antivirus and how it's impacted the usability of their computer. And so it gives off false warnings or blocks websites that actually aren't malicious, or gives false detections of actual software, and calls them malware during a system scan, or even gives false concerns when installing or using legitimate software from a verified company. This next figure actually shows the rate of valid protection against malware, true malware attacks, and the benefits of using an antivirus application. Because the antivirus software is so closely tied into the system, because it has to monitor everything that goes on in there, it does unfortunately affect the performance of the system as a whole. It tends to slow things down, whether it be applications on the device or accessing websites on the network, different connections. And so it's important to keep that in mind when you're choosing which antivirus application you want to use, or how much reign you give it over your system. And finally, this figure shows the best security packages for Windows 10, and there's a list of different security and antivirus software, and the amount of protection, the performance value, the usability value, so how conveniencing or inconvenient it is, and then the total score. And those are some options for third-party antivirus applications. There are plenty of security issues built into the actual Windows 10 operating system. This proves to be especially hazardous as they are often overlooked. For example, Windows Control Panel has a default setting that automatically assigns an advertising ID to a user's device. This ID is monitored by the Microsoft server and monitors system activity and browsing history in order to cater ads to the user. Previously, Shift F8 or the F8 key was a shortcut to initialize the safe mode protocol on a Windows operating system. But with the development of Windows 10, unfortunately, this option is automatically disabled when it comes to the shortcut. And so in order to turn on safe mode, you actually have to go into the startup menu and turn it on manually. Now, this can prove to be a problem for those who are unaware of the termination of that shortcut, and also proves to be a little bit more tedious and easily overlooked, as one now has to go into the advanced options inside of the startup menu and manually boot it. Another security issue within the default settings would be the automatic Wi-Fi connection setting. This allows users to connect to unlocked Wi-Fi networks or hotspots, which could put the user at potential risk. Typically because connecting to an insecure network would be open and vulnerable to attacks. The good news is turning off the auto connect feature within the settings would prevent this from happening when connecting to a wireless network.